Hi, everyone. So happy to see you. I'm just going to make sure everything is working properly and that you can hear me and see me. Just a sec. Yay. Okay. Bear with me for 1 second as I just get this all figured out here for a proper broadcast. Okay, that seems to be working. I'll be with you in just a second. All right. This is when you need an assistant to help you out. All right. Thank you so much for coming on this live webinar. I am so excited to be here with you. I'm going to switch over to my slides just so that we can get going. There we go. All right. Thank you so much for joining me on this live presentation, all about social media, but from a purely marketing perspective. So this is the 5 things that you need to know to kick up your social media game and finally make it work for your business. So a few housekeeping notes just as we get started. If you're having problems with the video or the audio, leave the session and come back in. This webinar platform works really well across all browsers, but just in case you may want to switch to another browser. Since this is a live stream and in order for it to allow for the maximum bandwidth that it needs, close your browsers and maybe ask others to hold off streaming. And if you're streaming music on the internet, you might want to pause that just so that this video comes through in the most crisp and clear way. And I will not be active in the chat while I'm delivering this. And it's not because I'm ignoring you, but because I'm not a seasoned pro at this live webinar thing. So I find it a little bit distracting to switch back and forth and still focus on the content. So leave an email in the chat if you would like, or send me a note with a question, and I will be more than happy to get back to you later this afternoon or tomorrow. And limit distractions if you can. I have been on many webinars where I'm sort of listening half with one ear and then multitasking with doing some emails. So I totally get it. But if you can, limit distractions. I have about 40 minutes worth of content. So I'm hoping that timing is going to work for everyone. All right, so this presentation is marketing based, and you will find benefit from it in what I am about to share with you. If you have been in business for a while, even a short little while, and want to add social media to your marketing because you know that it can be a good marketing tool in your marketing toolbox. And you're in the right place if you want to create a social media strategy that will support your business and your business goals. And you want to get social media marketing thing under control instead of it being afterthought, like waking up this morning and thinking, oh crap, I haven't posted anything to Facebook today. I better get to that. So I will help you with that. And if you want to pick up some tips on how to effectively manage your social media, because right now you feel like it's just all over the place. And if you're in the right place if you want to stop feeling like social media is a chore and that you're constantly playing catch up, which, nobody wants that. Although I will have some how-tos for different platforms, I will not have time today to take you through the marketing on any specific social network. So I'm saving these topics for another time. And I won't have time to show you a sales funnel, although I will talk about how to engage with your social media audience so that you can get them easily from social media to your store or to your website. And I will not give you any quick and easy hacks, but what I will give you is a framework to work work your social media plan long term. So a little bit about me and sort of where I'm coming from and my knowledge. I'm a marketing professional. I have been doing marketing for many, many years. My career has been based on strategy and building brands and content creation and marketing. I've worked in publishing, which was the beginning of my career, and I loved that time there. I really enjoyed the publishing world and spent some time in retail marketing at a national retail chain. I've done pure online marketing. I've worked in financial services. I've supported many local businesses sort of as I developed and have grown Small Gigs Marketing and group associations, which is an interesting industry to be in as well. My knowledge is national and local based. I work in online and social media primarily right now. And I've done quite a few multi-channel advertising campaigns, sort of bridging different ways of marketing through different channels in order to achieve marketing and business goals. So before we jump in, and as we go through this presentation, and as you leave here and go about your day, and take what you've learned, try to implement all these things into your business with the new marketing hat on, and having sort of that marketing frame of mind. And even though you probably use social media for personal reasons, try to think of it for your business specifically in quite a different light. So the first step to getting into the marketing frame of mind when it comes to social media is really not to put social media in a silo. And this is what I see a lot of brands do, is they sort of have their marketing and then social media is almost an afterthought. So rather make it a part of your overall marketing plan. It should be one of the components of your marketing mix, because it's such a great way to introduce your brand and your business to an audience that frequents social media. It's a way for you to be visible so that people get to know you. They can learn to trust you. It is a place to extend your customer experience and service and further strengthen the bonds of loyalty that you have with your customers. But then you must have a system in place to move that audience from social media to where they can make a purchase and interact with you a little bit better. So this is where the sales system part comes in. And before we get into the social media thing, know what it is that you want to share and what you want to communicate using social media, and the flair in which you want to communicate it, which goes back to your branding and your style. So whenever you show up on social media, think of your branding, your personal branding, your style, and how you want to show up in this space. And one sure way to get your social media front and center in your marketing, and so that it becomes a habit and not that afterthought, is to make it part of your promotional checklist whenever you're putting together a campaign. So I wanted to quickly pause here, just very briefly. Social media is really a two-way street, which is quite unique as a marketing tool versus other marketing things that you might be doing in your business that is pushing information out and not really seeing or experiencing how your audience is receiving it. So when you send out an email or you run an ad or you send out a direct mail, it's very difficult to gauge how your audience received it right away versus when you engage on social media. Right away, you can have an experience and interaction with them. So social media is a place to share what we want our audience to know about us, but it is also a place where they come to take their mind off of things. They come for entertainment, to keep them in touch with their friends and family. So this is such a unique shared experience between businesses and our customers. And we, as business owners, we kind of have to figure out the best way of how to be in that space. So social platforms were created for people to interact with other people. There is absolutely a space for us to promote our businesses, but it just needs to fit within that kind of expectation. So sometimes we know that we want to tell them what we do and how we do it, but do they really care, and do they want to hear from us? And sort of remembering that people are there to escape and to take a break and maybe to get inspiration from something. Many do come to look for ideas and for education and to find solutions, as I'm going to show you as we move forward. So as long as you keep this in mind and what the users expect to see on social media, your content will be that much better received. So you got to mold your message and the content to fit within the social media culture. Otherwise, it'll just fall flat in front of your audience. It won't be engaging, and you will look like a rookie when you're really trying to look like the professional that you are. So the 5 must-haves that we're going to talk about are goals and objectives specifically from social media, how to choose the right platform. We're going to talk about content, planning and scheduling, and then a little bit about budgeting for social media. So goals and objectives. As one of the first steps, you need to review your marketing goals for your company and then figure out how social media can help. Typically, your goals will be to grow your customer base for the purpose of lead generation and for making sales. We're in business to make sales. And social media is definitely one of those tools that can help you reach those business goals. It is definitely a vehicle to get you in front of a lot of people and raise your profile, build your brand, and deliver those customers. But you need to know what it is that you want out of this tool to see if it is actually working for you. So rarely do sales happen on social media. And I know that there are many people, many marketers and social media marketers specifically, that work on the theory of making sales with social media. I believe that social media is definitely a conduit in that process. And I don't believe that sales really happen just yet. Facebook is introducing some e-commerce platforms and testing them. But right now, what happens on social media, it's a place where you can grow your brand awareness. It is a place to increase your visibility so that more people can discover what you do and how you do it. It's a place to build your authority through what you share so that people can see you as an expert and someone that can help them when the time comes. And it's a great traffic building platform for your website, or even traffic to your store, where it gives you an opportunity to get in front of your audience, to grow your list. And once you get them off of social media, that is where you can make a sale. So your goals and objectives may be to use social media for any of these following reasons. As I said, to grow your fan base so that you can build your expertise in front of people that actually are interested in what you have to offer. You can grow your website traffic, where people can learn more about you. They can shop for your product or service. They can join your mailing list so that you can nurture your relationship with them that much better. You can get them into your store or to your event, like a webinar, and to a store by using special offers or advertising or creating that feeling on your social media that they might want to experience in person. And social media is a great way to sort of showcase an experience. You can build your reputation as an expert, which is really what we want to do when we're building personal brands, and build relationships with influencers who will then introduce you to their vast audiences. And social media is a great place to have access to people that we normally might not even be seen by. So building those relationships with influencers is a great sort of place to do on social media. It is definitely a lead generation tool and can be a start of your sales funnel or your sales process. So depending on which of these objectives you choose, how you structure your social media activities are going to be quite different. So knowing your goals is quite important to start with. So whatever your goals are, figuring out a way to track and measure your social media activities to see if you are getting closer to your goal is definitely important. And that social ROI, or return on investment, is such an elusive thing, but you can certainly track your progress through using native insights. So those are analytics and tools that each platform offers. So you have those available on Facebook and on Twitter, on Instagram if you have a business account. That is where you can gauge how well your audience responds to your posts. So you can track engagement and growth of your audience. And using Google Analytics, you can see the traffic that is coming from social media to your website, and whether that traffic actually converts into the goals that you've set up on your website and inside Google Analytics. And of course, you can ask customers questions about how they found out about you, and that is a good measure of whether your social media activities are actually working and delivering the results that you desire. So moving on to number 2, which is choosing the right platform to be on, because one big mistake is spending time and effort on social media and not getting any results, or not getting the results that you want. And one reason, it could be just because your customers are not there. So choosing the right platform is super important. You might be asking yourself, well, should I be on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, or should I be? How well you know your customers will matter here in answering this question, because if you have clearly identified your ideal customer, or you know your current customers very, very well, you will see a pattern of where they hang out on social media, and that will determine the place where you need to spend your resources. So there are a few questions that you can ask yourself when you're choosing a platform, or even if you're thinking of adding a new platform to your marketing. So consider the following. Which platform are my customers using? So you can answer that question by observing your customers. You can look at others in your niche to see where they show activity and success. You can certainly ask questions of your customers and ask them where they hang out, which social media platform they use, and more importantly, how do they use it? Do they use it for entertainment? Do they use it to find information? Maybe as a way to connect to others and to brands? And that will dictate the type of content that you will want to produce, so that when it shows up in their feed, it is exactly what they're using the platform for. How well you know the platform is going to play a role. Do you like using it? Do you find it easy enough to navigate and to share content on? Those are big things, because if you're considering something that you don't know about, or you are just not sure how to use, it'll just be a little bit of a learning curve and creating that habit of using that platform. Does it have longevity? So the top 5 we're pretty safe with using for Facebook, Twitter. All those have been around for a while. They've got great popularity, so we're safe there. If you're venturing into something brand new, you might want to ask yourself how much effort you want to put into a brand new platform that hasn't, I guess, proven itself in this space. And then what type of content is best suited for the platform, and can you easily create it on a regular basis? Because the last thing you want to jump onto a platform and create a few posts or videos and then not be able to kind of keep up with frequency. So how comfortable are you using the platform and creating the content that works well on it? So all of the currently dominating social media platforms can work really well for any type of business, and I truly believe that. But what you will have to do is just adjust your strategy and your tactics for each one, because what works well on Facebook just doesn't on Twitter, and what works well on Instagram does not work well on LinkedIn. So having that sort of frame of mind where you remember where you're posting and the kind of content that you're posting and how it's going to be received is very important. I believe in repurposing content 100%. So you can certainly do that across the different channels, but you should adjust that content to fit the platform and the audience so that it can easily be received by your audience, and your message is well represented there. So this slide just shows a little bit of who's who. Not that all these ginormous numbers really matter to our businesses, but it's just to show that these social networks definitely have huge following. The companies are investing money in maintaining them and their popularity. So investing time and effort into any of these is probably worthwhile. And I put the last bullet point on there because I found it very interesting that people who are 55 and older are more likely to engage with branded content. So if your audience is 55 and older, you're in good shape because they are going to love hearing from you. So a little bit on each of the platforms. Excuse me. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on them, but Facebook, place to connect with family and friends. And a few stats. Definitely think mobile when you're posting on Facebook. Videos earn highest rate of engagement. So creating videos or Facebook Live is something that you definitely might want to pay attention to. Advertising can be quite lucrative and quite effective on Facebook, and posting seems to work really well on Thursdays and Fridays. Although with some of the communities that I manage, I've noticed that in one specific, Tuesdays don't work. So it goes to show that you need to sort of pay attention to your own channel as well. Twitter, mainly used by people as news aggregator, and Twitter is so intimidating for so many people. It is restrictive and your feed goes by at a really lightning speed. But it is a place where professionals share industry news and they come to catch up on what's going on in their sectors. And for big brands and for smaller brands as well, it is definitely a place to monitor customer sentiment. People like to take to Twitter when wanting to be heard by a brand, and I'm sure you've noticed many of those stories in the news about people tweeting about brands. And if someone wants to be acknowledged or get brands' attention, they tend to take to Twitter. Instagram, used by people younger than 25, although I believe that is changing quite rapidly. But what's interesting is that people on Instagram do follow brands and interact with brands much more than on any other platform. So engagement on Instagram, if you happen to be on Instagram, is much, much higher. And that's certainly what I'm finding as well than on any other platform. And people like to engage with brands on Instagram. So it's definitely something to consider when you're building out your social media strategy. A little bit on Pinterest and LinkedIn. Pinterest, a lifestyle inspiration. Lots of business people are hanging out on Pinterest as well. And more guys are finding their way to Pinterest, which is interesting. And LinkedIn has always been a place to connect on a professional level. So if you are a B2B type of a business, LinkedIn is definitely a place where you need to sort of check out and make sure that you include it on your in your social media plans. Okay, so I have an example for you, and actually this came about at a mastermind meeting that I was at a couple of weeks ago. We were discussing a dance studio and how our ideas about what they should be doing when it comes to social media. So this is an example of a local business, a dance studio. They have two distinct audiences that are quite active on social media. Audience number one is moms and dads. Audience number two are dancers. So social media can be a huge marketing tool for them, but they need to use it differently in different ways to connect with these two audiences. So for moms and dads, Facebook is the perfect place where they can have an active page showing studio-related content, milestones. They can share announcements that the general public, i.e., new parents and new leads, can view. But they can also create a closed group for mom and dads of current dancers to create that community where moms and dads can share tips about where to buy tap shoes or carpooling to competitions or things like that. It is a perfect place to create that bond, that community feeling among parents with the same interest. And of course, for dancers, who use social media, perhaps Facebook is not it. They hang out on Snapchat. So for dancers, um, the studio maybe should create a community there for them, send quick announcements, maybe reminders, do shout outs, share kudos, those sorts of things, very personal on a personal level. But this is where strong bonds with dancers can be built so that they don't go off wandering off to the competition. All right, moving on to content that really can deliver your message in a strong way across any type of social media. So much like choosing the right platform, creating the right content is key in creating your social media plan so that it can bring you closer to your objectives. So this is the stuff that you create and share with your audience on social media. It is also how you communicate your message, meaning, does this type of content really enhance your message, your brand, and help in the delivery? So before you think which type you should spend time on, think of the message that you want your content to convey. So your key, maybe brand messages that you always want to be present when people look at your feed. Most brands, big brands, use content for social media that is well branded, but without the necessity of a logo or a specific call to action. That content is very inspirational and aspirational. It's lifestyle based. It offers some sort of value to the audience. Sometimes it's education. Sometimes it is, sort of creating that experience. It can make people feel good, or it can make their day in some way. And it is perfectly suited for the platform. So on this slide, I have a couple of screenshots from Instagram, from Twitter, video from Facebook, a Facebook Live, and also articles from LinkedIn. And these are all different types of content, but they're suited perfectly for each of the platforms. Excuse me. So you can achieve amazing connection with people with using visuals, of course, like amazing images or videos that will make your customers quite happy when they see your brand in their newsfeed. On LinkedIn, it may be content that you publish, short articles that you publish that will get noticed and that give people some idea to ponder, or maybe give them ideas of how to run their business. On Facebook, it may be content that's specific to your participation in groups where you grow your authority. So images, videos, live streaming, microblog content. So this is, I don't know if if you're on Instagram, but sometimes some Instagrammers will post quite long posts and they give tips and information. A couple of weeks ago, I got a recipe off of a Instagram post right from the post. I didn't have to go and get the recipe on the person's website. It was right there. So that's kind of what microblog content is. Articles can be shared on LinkedIn, and participation in groups is definitely a huge bonus for small personal brands on Facebook. If you want to get better on social media marketing, you got to remember not to post like a marketer, but instead create posts just like a fan would. So using the lifestyle photos that I talked about, showing your product or service being used, talking about the benefits of working with you instead of the features, and most importantly, approach your social media from an emotional perspective. And this is where images and videos have such a powerful impact because they can bring emotion forward. If you use those, if you keep that in mind, you will end up with posts that people love to see and people want to share. So you will make people happy with every time they see your post. So I have 30 different content ideas, and I'm not going to go through them because that would be 40 minutes in itself. Just that any of these content types, whenever you create them, linking them to your business and giving people some sort of a tip or idea about what you do, just so that they are formulating an idea of you as an expert in your field, is very important. So you can do, links to your blog posts, or you can take little excerpts from your blog and share those. Those are great content for social media. You can engage with your fans by sharing customer stories, picking a fan of the week share. You can use curated posts, sort of helping your fans discover new content that other people may have created, sharing great offers or fan-only discounts, trainings. All those sorts of things are great content types that you can share, and those are well executed across different type of channels, and just bringing it always back to you, your brand, and your business is quite important for content creation. Okay, we're moving on to plans and schedules, and I gotta tell you that I like this section a lot because this topic is all about having a well-developed and implemented social media program without it taking over your days. And you have a business to run after all, and customers to take care of. You do not have time to spend time on Facebook. So once you know how your social media fits into your marketing, which we talked about in number 1, and which platform you should dedicate resources to, and you figure out what content you want to use and is most appropriate to create, it is time to get going and start putting that all into practice. And to answer the feeling of being feeling less dread over your social media, and to have a solid plan, you kind of need to make time for that, to create that plan, and then schedule as much as possible. If you've ever spent time on social media, you know that it can be such a time suck. So this is quite an important step in making sure that you're productive and you're using this marketing tool most efficiently. So I do have some productivity tips ahead that you can implement immediately to help you be more effective at social media without feeling that dread, so that you can be strategic, you can feel in control, you will stay more consistent and on brand, which is so important because we're trying to use social media to build your brand and be productive and effective as much as possible, and also to create systems so that you can perhaps even pass this task on to a team member. So first is to plan, and I use a spreadsheet to map out all of my promotional and also evergreen content, and I do this for my small gigs, but also for all the other client channels that I manage. So I have a spreadsheet for each client. There's a little screenshot of what it looks like. And for every day of the month, I know exactly what kind of promotional post I'm going to share. And if there is evergreen content that I might want to kind of bring forward to my audience again, then I will have it in there also. So that all is scheduled on sort of a monthly basis. And then it's a good foundation to have sort of for the month. And then I will layer timely, in the moment posts as time goes by. But planning your promotional posts, planning your evergreen content, that will definitely kind of help you to get a handle on what's going on in your business. And then batch content creation as much as you possibly can. So that's from taking photos for backgrounds for images from your office or your store to show sort of your corporate culture and human interaction. You can batch those and have them, sort of in the background, just waiting for when you use them. Since images are a huge deal when it comes to social media, visual marketing is very important. Have access to some sort of image library. I use the following two. I use Unsplash and Pixabay. Unsplash probably more than Pixabay, but both are quite good. And those are great sources of images for you that are free. And repurpose content across platforms. Just make sure that you adjust the image and the copy itself so that it fits both. So when you create a tweet, it needs to be a little different when you post it on Instagram or on Facebook, kind of thing. If you're planning to introduce videos or live streams as part of your content strategy for social media, add it to your weekly planner and book some time in your calendar to deliver your content. It's good to have a plan and know what you're going to talk about, but booking your time in your calendar and delivering it will help you with consistency. And not only that, it will help your audience kind of know what to expect. So if you show up on Facebook Live every Thursday, let's say, people will know what to, that, oh, Anna's going to be on Facebook Live at noon on Thursday again. So that's it's a good little strategy to have, and it'll help you with your planning, your days and your weeks. So moving on to scheduling, which is such a time saver. So once you've created your plan, scheduling your posts that are promotional and your evergreen into a scheduling tool, I highly recommend. You can spend a little bit of time one day doing that, and then it'll be set for the week or for a couple of weeks. So populating your favorite scheduling tool, I use both Buffer and Hootsuite for two different reasons. I use Hootsuite primarily for Twitter. There's a screenshot on the left. I have created Twitter lists of influencers, social media marketers, and kind of other people, and it allows me to quickly interact with just the people that I really want to interact with, instead of me just going to the platform itself and looking for them. It's much faster to do it that way. And I schedule pretty much all of my tweets. I do interact with users live on Twitter, but I schedule pretty much everything. And on the left is Buffer, and I use that for Instagram. Buffer doesn't post to Instagram automatically. There is still a process that you have to follow, but it is a great way to sort of have a whole bunch of images and text already created, and then it's a quick push to the platform and it goes live. And when it comes to social media, you've got to practice some self-discipline. So checking in with your social media each and every day is so important, whether it's, once a day in the morning or in the evening. Make sure to check your channels so that they look great. The posts that you've scheduled show up properly. Make sure that you interact with any fans that have left comments for you. You share in the moment type of posts that are happening, or you're sharing somebody else's content that you just discovered. So that's what you would do on a daily basis, and group participation is huge. So scheduling maybe 15 minutes a day, twice a day is something that you can do, but keeping tabs on your social media every single day is definitely a priority. Okay, so we're on to number 5, which is budget. And thinking of your budget and sort of what you spent on marketing and shifting a little bit of money to social media, definitely consider that. And it can be in content creation when you're perhaps purchasing images, creating videos, having a photo shoot that is specific for social media use, having a little bit of budget towards that, maybe outsourcing. So let's say you are creating your plan, but you outsource the scheduling of it to someone else. Maybe you need to have a little bit of money put towards that, or somebody just to manage the whole thing. Maybe you want to outsource your entire social media program, and that's totally fine as well. And then social media advertising, and I'm a huge fan of Facebook ads. I've managed a few accounts for customers and also for myself, and it can be quite a good tool to use to get people to your store, to get people to your website, to raise your profile, to kind of be discovered by new audiences that are out there that just don't know about you yet. All right, so a little bit of in review. We've talked a lot about social media and sort of the marketing foundation for what this tool can do for you. So do set up those goals for social media to support your business that are specific and attainable by this specific marketing tool. So knowing what it is that it can deliver will help you set up those goals. Choosing the right platform so that you can deliver your message in front of your customers that will appreciate and respond to. So making sure that you're spending time in the right place. And content, creating content that is suitable for the platform, but more importantly, that communicates your message well and is easy for you to create and is easy for customers to receive it on that specific platform. Planning and scheduling your social media activities so that you can be productive and efficient, and you can maximize using this tool without it being such a dreadful experience. And dedicate some budget to social media so that you can truly build it into a successful tool that I know that it can be for you. So a few final thoughts. When you become a fan of social media and you take a look at it from a business perspective, it can really positively impact what you're doing in a huge way. It can be a huge brand builder for you, but you got to practice it every day in some ways. You need to test various types of content, times to share, and what kind of messages resonate with your audiences. I encourage you to be open and observant of what others are doing and how your audience reacts to your channels, and also try something that maybe you haven't tried before. It's a great place to sort of test out different things and pay attention to trends, not only in your niche, but also in what is happening around on those social networks. As an example, I've seen a trend within Facebook that they really value content that doesn't take a person off of their platform. So posts that do not have links that lead people to content outside, or videos that are embedded or uploaded directly to the platform and not leading people to YouTube. Facebook Live videos are huge, so just paying attention to those trends and implementing them in your business. So thank you so very much for joining me. I can't believe that it's over already. I loved creating this quick presentation for you and really enjoyed delivering it to you on this webinar. I hope that you found at least one nugget to inspire you to create that social media master plan for your business. And if you would like to have a quick chat about your specific strategy or your plan and how to make it happen for your business, this is a standing offer. It's not just for this webinar, but I always offer a 15-minute Skype call to help you out, and it's completely free. So if you'd like to take advantage of that, just go to my website or email me. That's totally fine. And if you know that you need some help and would like to find out how I can help you, and you know that 15 minutes is just not going to be enough time, well, let's Skype anyway, and then we can figure out if you and I are the right fit to work together and if I can even help you in the first place. So I hope that you enjoyed this. I sure did. I hope to see you again. Let's connect on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Those are my the three platforms that I am on pretty much every day. And thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. And if you've left me a question in the chat, I will make sure to get back to you on that, or you can just drop me a line at anna@smallgigsmarketing.com. Thank you.